Good morning. As the COVID-19 pandemic escalates, our anxieties and fears also rise. This situation presents us with a reality that challenges our idea of what life should be. As I said in previous talks, Buddhism is about waking up to reality. It's about how we respond to reality, whether we see it as good or bad. Of course, we see the pandemic as bad, as the infection rate in the United States these past few weeks have accelerated from a few thousand to over 100,000. Death in the U.S. has risen from dozens to over 1,000. Here in San Diego, the rate of infection and death is relatively low, but medical authorities tell us that because of the lack of test kits, we don't know who is infected. They speculate that the number will rise as it has in other parts of the country. I want to reiterate how important it is to stay at home and be socially distant from each other. As I connect with members over email and phone, I'm gratified to hear that our members have reached out to those who are home alone. Our Indra's net is a physical reality and not just a metaphor. Our intention is to have all organizations keep in touch with their members via email or telephone. Also, a small core group of people can be available to those who are isolated and who may live alone. This is a two-way communication should help in getting out information to those without email and also to be available for those who may be in need. This unprecedented and unique situation we find ourselves in can bring on a higher sense of anxiety and stress, more than usual. So I would like to talk about a Buddhist way of reducing stress. Meditation can reduce our stress. Jodo Shinshu has a unique relationship with meditation. There's a sense of ambiguity and discomfort when many Shin Buddhists talk about meditation. I would like to share my thoughts on why this is so and how we American Shin Buddhists might practice meditation. During our ordination process in Kyoto, Japan, the Rinban at Nishiyama Betswing was concerned about why we Americans practice meditation. The reason for this is that the Japanese word for meditation is zazen. Zazen is translated as sitting in meditation as a practice towards satori, or awakening. Its purpose is to achieve a certain spiritual state. As Shin Buddhists, Shinran has emphasized that our main practice is the Nembutsu, and it is not achievement, but is received. So the meditation we do is not about achieving any higher spiritual state. It may be considered an auxiliary practice. Shinran talks about shallow and deep. Shallow refers to the practice that benefits the self. Deep practice refers to Amida benefiting us, or a spiritual connection. Let me give you a very loose generalization, but it may help our understanding of our Shin position on meditation. In Japan, many arts, crafts, martial arts, careers, and basic life, such as cooking, may be taken as a spiritual way of life. Americans may appreciate the beauty, emotion, philosophy, and dedication of these arts, but the deeper spiritual aspects are separated and left out. For example, if an American earns a black belt in Judo, he feels he's ready to return to America and start a school to teach. In Japan, earning a black belt means that you are ready to start learning about Judo, Kendo, Aikido, flower arranging, or dance. The rest of your life is dedicated to learning, never reaching the top. It is a spiritual practice, a spiritual life. The process of doing is important, not the goal of an end product. I think this is the situation with meditation, which has long been associated with Buddhism. John Kabat-Zinn introduced mindful meditation to the medical community with great success over 30 years ago. Now it has spread to many areas of American life. Many Americans use meditation, but it has been separated from many spiritual aspects. It is known to reduce stress and has helped many with stress-related illnesses. About 25 years ago, I had a medical episode where I blacked out. The cardiologist determined that I might have a heart arrhythmia that caused it. I enrolled in a week-long course for health professionals by John Kabat-Zinn, who created this format. John had recognized that mindfulness and meditation were Buddhist practices that brought a natural balance back to the mind and body. He left out the spiritual part of meditation to bring it to the medical community, where it has had a tremendous effect on the physical health of Americans. I later enrolled in a 10-week mindfulness-based stress reduction, MBSR, course. This would be what Shinran would call a shallow practice of benefiting the self. I also had experience in meditation as I had taken part in many activities in Soto Zen. Shunryu Suzuki's San Francisco Zen Center is very prominent in the San Francisco Bay Area. I had taken workshops and retreats at Green Gulch and Tassajara. I went to Tassajara Zen Center's monastery for over 10 years, taking a small group of high school graduates on vision quests in the Ventana wilderness. There we would end up at Tassajara with the hot springs bath and the vegetarian lunch. In Zen, meditation is a means to awakening. It is essentially a spiritual practice. Shinran would call this a deep practice. The Nembutsu is our deep practice. We are awakening to the reality that Amida, or the efforts of others, is benefiting us. For American Shin Buddhists, meditation would be a shallow practice, a practice that benefits the self. In America, we Shin Buddhists take yoga, tai chi, martial arts, flower arranging, etc. But I don't think we consider it a spiritual practice. So I would like to consider practicing meditation as an auxiliary practice, like chanting, burning incense, and other rituals. These auxiliary practices prepare us to experience our main practice of the Nembutsu. We'll talk about that in a few weeks. Why does meditation work to calm us? In the Second Noble Truth, the Buddha tells us that it is our mind that is focused on our own welfare that creates our own discomfort. Our minds are making all these decisions about our thoughts, conduct, speech, and views. When was the last time you really thought about the source of your problems? We have bodies and minds that are wonderful. What happens when we cut ourselves or have other injuries? By cleaning out a wound or eliminating the cause, our body heals naturally. In yoga, when you do a 1-foot standing pose, the instructor says to look at a distant point. She doesn't say to think about balance or being centered. When the mind concentrates on the central point, the body naturally balances itself. When you start to think, I'm balanced, then you start to tip over. Meditation is an opportunity to allow your body, mind, heart, and spirit be natural. Our natural state is to be balanced and centered. So it is our mind that upsets us when we think, I should be balanced. So when we meditate, don't think that you should be peaceful or centered or without stress. Accept what is. Amida accepts us just as we are. If your mind is jumping around, let it be. If you itch, scratch. If you get sleepy, sleep. Be patient. We will have a following video that will give instruction on meditation. There are different types of meditation. We are not trying to achieve anything except being our natural selves. Becoming familiar with our natural selves may enable us to become familiar with our spiritual selves. Our spiritual self is in oneness with all things, light and life, wisdom and compassion, Amida Buddha. If you are new to meditation, please try it. Be patient. You may experience many parts of you that you were not aware of. You may experience calmness and peace. But if you have other feelings, be open to them and accept all parts of you. Waking up is an exciting process that may not follow your expectations. As we deal with this COVID-19 pandemic, let us follow some simple rules that can keep us safe. Stay healthy by staying home. Wash your hands thoroughly and often. Try not to touch your face, nose, mouth, eyes. When in public, use social distancing, about 6 feet. Use a tissue for door handles, elevator buttons, and other things you touch. Use a hand sanitizer after touching things. Phone your medical facility if you have shortness of breath. Remember, even in physical isolation, we are all connected. Take care. Join me in Nembutsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu.